Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Taylor Nicole, and today, oh goodness, I'm gonna be telling you one of this story is like the nastiest thing I have ever experienced in my life. One of the worst experiences with like gross stuff wise. I just want to preface this story just by saying where I live is a small town. If you happen to know these dogs or you happen to know the owner of these dogs, nothing personal against them. The owners were very nice, but their dogs were absolutely terrible. I actually have footage of all of this, and I was talking to my friend about it the other day because I used to put a lot of stories on my Snapchat back in the day. I would put a lot of stories on my Snapchat from work, from stuff like this. So this is one of those stories where I had put everything on Snapchat and people just loved it. They just soaked it up. So I think it's a story that I should share with you guys because it was so gross. I just like can't even believe that it happened. So I have a lot of footage from those Snapchats that I'm gonna insert into this video so you can actually see my facial expression when I saw what they did and how we dealt with it. I actually don't think I recorded that part, but just so you can actually see what I'm talking about, because when I explain it to people, they're like, ew, that's gross. But when I show them the videos, they cannot believe how bad it was. So like any young adult, we all are struggling to make enough money to pay for things that we need and want to pay for, obviously. Sometimes you just have enough money to pay for what you need, but then you can't do anything fun or anything that you want. So I used to house sit and babysit, dog sit, cat sit. I have iguana sat, I have lizard sat, I have pretty much watched horses, I've watched goats, I've watched pretty much any animal. So I used to do that all the time, but this was a suggestion that I got from someone I knew. It was just a referral to someone that they knew that needed a dog sitter, and I didn't know them. The owner was very nice. I just want to say, like, I have nothing against them. Again, I know I already said that, but I just, by any chance that they see this video, you're a very nice person, but your dogs just they were just the worst. So this is the first experience I had watching someone's animals that I didn't know personally, but I trusted the person that referred me to them, so I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. First off, one of the dogs was really old and had to take pills, so I had to like put them in the little pill pocket things. I don't know, I think that's what they're called. They had to take pills like once or twice a day. I can't remember now, this was kind of a while ago, and so that was kind of like extra. And then like they would throw up when I was out of the house, and I told the owner, like at the time I was also working like 11-hour shifts, and so I was out of the house for like 11 and a half to like 12 hours at a time, and they didn't have a doggy door or anything. So I told her that in the very beginning. I was really clear about that, and I said, I'm gonna be out of the house for like 11 and a half hours to 12 hours at a time. Are your dogs gonna be okay? What do I do with them? And she just said to leave them in the office. Like, they have a bed in there, they have water in there, and they normally can hold it for a pretty long time. But she said worst case scenario, if they have an accident on the floor, it was like laminate wood flooring or whatever. She said worst case scenario, if they have an accident on the floor, it's not that big of a deal, just clean it up. If they throw up, you just clean it up. Also, I don't like sleeping at other people's houses, even if I know them. Like, I only like sleeping in my bed. I know a lot of people are like that. Like, my bed is the most comfortable thing. Other people's beds, not really. Other people's noises in their house, like every noise or every house has like different noises and stuff that are like special to the house. So you're like, that was either the refrigerator or there's a man downstairs with a knife that's gonna come murder me. Like, you just can't really distinguish what the noises are if you're not used to them. You know what I mean? Am I the only one? No? Okay. So I got really creeped out sleeping at other people's houses. So I asked her if I had to sleep there because it was pretty close to my house. So I said, can I just like drive here in the morning to feed them and like hang out with them for like 15-20 minutes before I go to work or whatever? Because I would work early in the morning until the evening. And she was like, well, no, I would rather you just sleep here. So the first night I stayed there, I think for like 5 days, like, which is a pretty long time. Normally I only like watch people's animals for like 3. So it was 5 days for this house that I didn't even know the owners or the dogs, didn't know what it was going to be like. And she was paying me really well, which I was like, oh wow, that's really generous. But now I'm starting to think she knew how difficult it was going to be, so she was paying for that. But guys, it just, oh my gosh, it's just so bad. First night, the freaking dog, the old one was fine. The young one, I think, had anxiety, which is like kind of sad, but I still need to sleep. Like, I was working long days, and like I would come home for a couple hours and then go to bed at a decent time, you know, like 10 p.m., maybe 11 p.m. if I'm feeling extra party like. The freaking dog would not let me sleep, so I kept waking up just because I kept hearing noises, and like legitimately it sounded like someone was walking in the hallway, and I was like, okay. And the bedroom door didn't even have a lock on it, so that was really creepy. And I left a light on in the hallway just because it made me feel better. But then I kept like seeing shadows, so like I was like, someone definitely just walked by. I was having a really hard time falling asleep because I just felt like every noise was like someone about to murder me, and I was alone, but I needed to sleep because I had a long day the next day. The older one snored a little bit, but I can kind of like, once I fall asleep, I can kind of like tune that noise out and still sleep even though someone's snoring. So a dog is snoring. I wasn't too concerned about that, so I eventually like fell asleep, but then I wake up to like a bark and a crying. The dog was like crying in my ear and barking. This is the younger dog. This is the one that was the issue. The older one is fine. We love the old geezer, but the young one was just such an issue. So I woke up to that dog like in my ear, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, go back to sleep. And the dog like went and lay down. Like, I would pet it for a little bit, and then I'd say, okay, go lay down. So it would go lay down, and then it would come up again and do that in my ear, and I'm like, okay, maybe it has to pee. But it did it like so much that in the beginning I just thought maybe it, I don't know, wanted attention, but then it wouldn't go back to sleep. So then I got up with the dog. I think it started at like 1 a.m. and I got up with the dog and I went outside, and the dog wouldn't go outside. And this was another really annoying thing. I would open the door and the dog would just stand there and he wouldn't go outside, and I was like, pee, go pee. I was like, okay. And so I would go out there with it and do the thing where you're like, okay, come on. So then like the dog just knew I wasn't gonna stay up there, I guess, so like he wouldn't come out, and I'm like, you obviously have to pee, you've been keeping me up for the past hour. He wouldn't go outside. So eventually, like, you know, I like coax him out there, get him to come outside, and I like stand on the back porch, and the dog just sits next to me, just sits there, doesn't pee. I'm like, do you freaking have to pee? Why were you waking me up for the past hour? And the dog didn't have to pee. So we stayed out there for like 5 minutes and no movement, just sat next to me. If you're just trying to hang out, this is not the time. Like, I really need to sleep. Go back inside. And just to make this long story like way shorter, this isn't even like the grossest part, but the dogs were just terrible. Basically, long story short, they did that every night, all night. And I texted the owner the next morning. I'm like, hey, is this normal? Is your dog just doing this because he misses you, or am I like doing something wrong where the dog knows that I did something wrong? I don't know. So I asked her, and she was like, no, that's actually normal. Like, he just wants attention. He just likes to be up in the middle of the night. And I said, so what do you normally do? And she's like, I get up with him. I was like, F that. I'm not getting up with the dog every hour. So that was frustrating because it wasn't even like I had the day off the next day or a normal 8-hour shift. Like, I had like 11-hour shifts every day. I was like, I really need sleep. I can't just like be up all night with this dog that wants to hang out. Like, no thank you. So when she told me that, I was like, okay, this is just a thing the dog does. So I tried like sleeping with the dog outside of the room, but it would scratch on the door, it would bark, it would do all this stuff, and I was like, okay, maybe the dog will sleep outside. It just barked all night. The dog just was barking. I'm like, well, it's gonna keep the neighbors up, so I brought the dog back in. But long story short, I got like no sleep every night, and that was just the start of it. The long shift started happening, and I would come home as soon as I could, right after work. I would bring dinner home and eat there. And when I would go into the room, I would walk into the house and I could already smell an accident. And I'm like, oh, lovely, I'm so excited. So I'd walk to the room, open the door, and yeah, there's like poop on the floor and puke or whatever, I don't know. I think the old dog would like throw up after it had the pill. I don't really know. I'm not sure what the issue was, but there was always an accident every day. But like, it wasn't that big of a deal because it was on the wood floor, so I would just wipe it up. They just kept doing that. That kept happening, and that was repetitive. But like, I understand because I was out of the house for a long time, so I'd let them out right away. And then of course, when I'm home and would try to let them out, they wouldn't actually go to the bathroom. So that was frustrating. So it gets really bad because I ended up, after like a night or two of trying to sleep there, I texted the owner and I'm like, you know, like, it's really hard to sleep here. Your dogs are not letting me sleep, and I need to sleep because I'm working long hours at work and I'm just like exhausted. I was running off of like 2 hours of broken sleep. Like, I would get like 5-10 minutes here and there when the dogs would actually leave me alone. So the owner was like, it's okay, I understand. Like, I want you to be able to get sleep. Started to sleep at my house and go there in the morning and blah, blah, blah. So that was really nice. But you know, still accidents every night, which it's like, they didn't have accidents when I would sleep there, but they would keep me up all night. So then when I slept at home, they would have accidents during the night, but they wouldn't do that when I was there. You know what I mean? Like, it was just freaking frustrating. Like, I think the dog just like knew what it was doing, and it just wanted to make my life a living hell. The worst part, this is where it gets really bad. Sorry, it took me 11 minutes to get to this point, but the worst part was she ended up saying, you know, like, I think the dogs are just anxious. They want to be with someone more. And I was like, yeah, I understand. But like, I also warned her in the beginning that like, I wouldn't, this was before I even told her I could do it, that I wouldn't be there a lot because I was working a lot. I remember she wanted me to like stay there again. I hated cleaning up their accidents. So like, I tried to come home as much as I could to like let them out and whatever. So one day I went to my friend's birthday party. I was literally gone for 4 hours, and this is when it gets really bad. So I will insert the clip right now so you guys can watch it. This is this is really the meat of the story, but I had to give you the whole backstory for you to understand why I was so impatient about it. I was already really irritable with these dogs. Normally I watch really well-behaved dogs that like they let you sleep decently, at least they don't wake you up constantly, and you maybe let them out once a night. I don't know, not, you know, 10 plus times a night. I'm gonna show you the clip of like what I came home to right now.
I hate these dogs so much. It got worse. So I looked up, and what the frick? What? Excuse me, why? Excuse me, why? How? What? Excuse me, what? What?
Okay, so do you see how freaking bad that was? How bad was that? It's just unbelievable how disgusting this situation was. So these dogs, like, they didn't even have normal poop. Like, this dog, it's not even the old dog. I'm like over that one. That one was awesome. I don't care about that dog. But the young dog was like the real issue, and this thing pooped like all the time, everywhere. And the worst part was when I came home and there was literally poop all over everything, and this was in their office, which like this is just where they kept their dogs. They obviously didn't have this problem before, but I'm like, when this happened, I'm like, why would you keep your dogs where all of your most important paperwork is? So these dogs got up on the table, pooped all over all their paperwork. It was like their tax forms and like stuff like that. Like they had all their important paperwork on this table. The dog had jumped up there, pooped on there. There's poop on the wall. You obviously saw the videos, and I was like, oh my goodness, so gnarly. It's not even like poop that you could just pick up and throw away. Like this was like splattered and sticky and like, oh my gosh. Like I remember cleaning it and it just would like stick to the paper towel and like have string. So I texted the owner, and she was coming home the next day, and I had been telling her that there had been issues like every day up until that point. And she's like, okay, you know, I really think like they just want to be with someone, so will you please sleep there tonight? And I was like, are you kidding me? Sleep here tonight? Like this isn't gonna go well. I had to clean up all that poop, and luckily my friend, thank God for Bianca, my friend is so sweet. I was supposed to hang out with her, and I texted her, I'm like, I can't hang out, like I need to clean up all this freaking poop all over all this stuff that this dumb dog did. So she came over and helped me with it. We had to like bleach the tablecloth that was underneath all the papers. There was poop on the wall, there was poop on like the window paint or whatever, those blinds. There was poop on the blinds. I don't even know how it like shot up that. So we had to clean off, like literally had like multiple paper towels. We're cleaning off every piece of paper with the paper towels. Tried to sleep, but the dog wouldn't let me, obviously. So I just had my computer with me. I stayed up all night and I just worked on stuff all night. Did not sleep a second. The dog slept like a baby. Didn't wake up once. The dog was sleeping the whole time. I'm like, that is the most frustrating thing I've ever seen. I ended up not sleeping the next day. I tried to take a nap really quick for like 10 minutes. Like I just want 10 minutes before I have to go to work. You know, like, is that too much to ask? So I fell asleep on the couch, and the dog, I woke up to it just going woo, 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 like in my ear. And I'm like, what? And I woke up and I had been sleeping for 10 minutes. I woke up and I'm like, do you need to go to the bathroom? The dog just goes and lays down and goes back to sleep. I'm like, this dog literally just doesn't want me to sleep. It was so frustrating. So then I had to go to work, and this time it was only like a 5-hour shift or whatever, which like, come on, you can freaking handle 5 hours of not like just absolutely pooping on everything in the world. So I had left him in the room again. I came home to another terrible sight, which I don't know if, I think I do have a video of this. So I'll insert this clip now.
How did they even get it in the tree? How did they do that? Just casually moving a Christmas tree full of shit to the garage. Dear Lord, guys, I was gone for 4 hours. 4 hours. They tore this out of the freaking wall.
So that video I came home to, this was like my just tipping point. I was like, I have absolutely no patience left. I'm so glad these people come home today. Like it was the last day there. Oh my gosh, it was so terrible. The dog freaking ripped like the trim, the side trim off of the door. 5 hours. This is what the owner told me to do with the dogs. Cause like, I'm like, I could have just left them out in the house, but they had like nice vases and stuff in their front living room. And I just felt like the dogs were gonna rip that up. So the dog literally like ripped it from the bottom up, and it was completely off the wall. Also, they had like a little Christmas tree in there, and that had tipped over and had poop in it. So the dog, like, I don't know what possessed the dog to do that, but the dog knocked the tree over, sat on top of it, which first of all, that would hurt, I feel like, to sit on top of that, but it was really determined to just poop on everything it could and just make my life worse. So the dog just pooped all over the whole tree, and I tried to clean it up. Yes, I tried to clean it up because I felt bad, but like, come on. This is why she was paying me a lot, because this was the worst experience. And so on top of all of this, I'm running on 10 minutes of sleep. Yeah, I was trying to clean up the Christmas tree and I just couldn't do it. I'm like, I can't do that. So I brought it out to the garage, left it there for her. I had already wiped off every single piece of paper that the dog had pooped on. And yeah, it was terrible. I feel like sometimes when I talk about it, it doesn't sound as bad, but think about not being able to sleep every night and coming home to just clean up all this freaking poop all over everything. It was just a really crappy situation, if you know what I'm saying. That was the story about the dogs from hell. Because of that, I have significantly cut down on watching any animals and house sitting because I just have become a lot pickier. I'll only do it for a couple families now if I know they have well-behaved dogs, and it's just like not even worth the money. Like after that, I was like, that was not worth how much time I spent there and like not getting any sleep and all that stuff. You know, I would have paid to not have to deal with that again. So yeah, that was a terrible experience, and I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you have a good day, and I hope you don't have to clean up too much dog poop today. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!